Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and today we're going to be doing a slightly different type of video. So we're going to be talking about how Catholics and just people in general make some assumptions that they really shouldn't make, and how everyone is different. Everyone is on the path to holiness, or should be on the path to holiness, and everyone should be striving to holiness, but everybody's journey and every person just looks completely different. And so today we're going to be going over a clip from Jackie Angel's podcast, and she had on a guest called Finding Philothea. That's her real name's Claire, but Finding Philothea is her Instagram handle, and I highly recommend you follow her. She's actually married and has a son and has been very open about her secondary infertility, how they were able to have their son, the couple was able to have their son, but they had not been able to have another child yet. And Jackie Angel herself has children, but she also has had several miscarriages, which she has been very open about on YouTube and on Instagram as well. So these two women I really admire. I completely believe they're living their vocations and striving for holiness. Of course, you never know what goes on behind closed doors, but they come off very authentic on Instagram. And I really enjoyed this clip, but I wanted to dive a little further and give the perspective as a single female, because these two are both married and have a different vocation than me right now. So let's dive into the clip and just go over it.
I just want to mention and apologize to anyone who is struggling with infertility, because for any of the Catholics who have ever assumed that you are contracepting, because you have one kid or zero kids,
True.
oh my gosh, I've gotten to hear the stories of friends who have struggled with infertility or secondary infertility, the stories of people just, again, saying horrible things.
Okay, so I want to stop the clip right there because this is very important, that Catholics are just assuming that other Catholics are contracepting when we really don't know that they could be struggling with infertility. And when you find out they're struggling with infertility, so often they're like, oh, why can't you just adopt? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Why have you done this yet? People just like to get up in people's business. And it's very, very rude and very, very annoying. However, there are other couples who are putting on a brave face and just straight up lying. You might have seen the internet trend right now where they talk about dinks, right? Dual income, no kids. These couples who are married have chosen not to have kids, or say they've chosen not to have kids, and they get to spend all their money on everything else, on their pets, on dinners, and blah, 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 all this crazy stuff. I had a coworker for years told us, I don't want to have kids. My wife and I have so much fun, blah, 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 all this stuff. I don't want to give up that freedom that I have. And then I overheard him at a happy hour talking to another coworker saying, I don't know what my wife and I are going to do. I think we're going to start IVF soon. I don't know what we can do anymore. I realized that coworker had just been putting on a brave face for years, been putting on a brave face, telling everyone, I'm never going to have kids. No, no, no. My life is for me. When in reality, he did want to have kids. But unfortunately, his wife and him were experiencing infertility. Let's not make assumptions about couples who are contracepting. Let's not talk behind couples' backs. Let's just be like, oh, that is a very nice couple. Looks like from the outside they are striving for holiness. I pray to God that they are living their vocation the way that God has intended for them. This is also very similar for single people. I know so many single people in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, and beyond who are living God's will. However, there are people behind their backs and people who will say to my face, the reason you are single is because you have focused on your career. You did not want to find a husband. You are a feminist. You hate men. I have literally been told you're a male-hating feminist. Okay. If you're in your 30s and you're single, it's your fault, all this stuff. So people will make assumptions about women. People will make assumptions about men thinking, oh, they're players, right? There are some very, very holy men that I know who have been very true to God's plan. Of course, they've stumbled like we all have, but people will just assume that they're bleep boys and they are just selfish and they have women coming over all the time and all this crazy stuff, when in reality, they just haven't found their wife yet. God has not presented them with a new vocation yet of marriage. So we need to stop making these assumptions, because you really don't know what's going on in somebody's head, in somebody's heart, and in somebody's circumstances. So please, my heart breaks for these couples with infertility. My heart breaks for these single women that I know who are just getting older and fertility seems out of reach, but we really don't know what God has in store. So let's continue with the clip.
assuming they were contracepting
It's true.
when they weren't. And it's already painful.
Exactly.
If any of you listening have had that experience, I am so sorry.
That helps me because I've received that too, or just the comments that good Catholic families are big Catholic families, and that doesn't always equate. We know that
To holiness.
Big
families don't always equal holiness.
So this is terrible. This poor woman. Big Catholic families equate to holy Catholic families. So not true. What was the holiest family? The holiest family to ever walk the face of the earth. There was only 3 people in it: Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. That was the holiest family to ever walk the face of the earth. Come on. There's nobody who lived God's will more than Mary, right? And she only had 1 kid. Stop it with that big families equate holy families. That's so not true. It's the family that is striving to do God's will that equates holiness. And you can't say that if you are not married and you are not a nun or a priest, that is not a holy person. No, you need to look at the person and their circumstances and think, okay, that is a person who God did not call to a sacramental vocation. So big Catholic families do not automatically equate holy families. Families striving for holiness equates holy families.
Exactly. Or when are you having your next one? I get that all the time. And it's always older church women, all good hearts. But it's to know that your holiness does not equate that the size of your family or children at all. And just to strive towards the heights of holiness wherever God has placed you in whatever situation or cross he has given you.
So let's go over that last little bit right there. The older church ladies who have these good hearts. I kind of disagree with her on that. I might be a little bit jaded, but I don't think these older church ladies always have good hearts, or these people who ask you about your personal life always have good hearts. I think a lot of them can be a little uppity, a little bit holier than thou, a little bit pretentious, and say, oh, well, me and my husband did this, so you need to do that. Me and my husband met on the line for confession, that's where you'll meet your husband. Or me and my husband met at work, so that's where you'll meet your husband. The fact that you work remotely. See, I'm getting a little personal here, means you'll never meet someone. I've had people say she's never going to find someone, things like that. I do think a lot of this just comes from a place of superiority, and that's just not good. There might be some older church ladies who are just excited about having babies and blah, 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 and I'd be asking about that. That's fine. And it really is about where God has placed you in the crosses God has asked you to bear. But don't come to people with this uppity attitude that you're holier than thou, that you know better than thou, because it's just mean. And for the difficulty of infertility and that cross to bear, that's just a horrible cross. It's such a horrible cross. I really can't fathom how bad a cross that is. And maybe I'll face it one day. I don't know. But at the end of the day, this life is very short, even though it feels very long, especially in the winter. And we don't know what God has in store. And all we can do is attempt to align our will as much to His as possible. Even when our will is not at all what God is calling us to do God's will, to try to be the best we can in the place that He has placed us. Because He has placed us at this moment in history for a reason. He has placed us with the gifts of fertility, of a spouse, of children, of all this stuff for a reason. And you might say to yourself, like, oh my gosh, I go to young adult events all the time, and then this one 22-year-old comes to one event and meets her dream guy and is engaged, 6, 10, 12 months later. But I've been going to young adult events for 10 years, and I've never even had someone ask me for my number. Right? Children are gifts. There are certain teenagers or couples who get pregnant like that, and maybe you've been trying to have a baby for 10 years. Children are gifts. A spouse is a gift. We don't know why God is giving us these crosses. We don't know why. Hopefully it will make sense one day in heaven. But right now it doesn't make any sense. It's very painful. That's what the crosses are supposed to be. They're supposed to be painful. All we can do is ask Jesus to help make our crosses sweeter, to help us to serve others, and to focus on the prize, right? Focus on the end goal, which is heaven, which is eternity with Christ. So I hope this video helped you a little bit with making assumptions about single people, making assumptions about married couples who do not have children. With couples who say they don't want to have children, they could be lying, they could be putting on a brave face. We really don't know what is inside someone's hearts. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you could give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss one of my videos, I will greatly appreciate it. I'm really growing this channel. It's so exciting to see it take off. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to release as many videos lately. December is my busiest time of year with my job. No, I'm not focused on my career, and that's why I can't find a husband. But I still need to provide for myself. I still need to eat. I still need to breathe. I still need shelter. So I still need to work. And, you know, I do try and bring Christ to my workplace. I do believe that, you know, everybody, when they see, I mean, like I wear, you can't see this outfit, but I do wear my medal whenever I go into work. I work remotely most of the time, but when I do go in. And then I do have coworkers who come up and talk to me about religious things. And I do usually keep a Jesus thing on my desk since I don't go into the office anymore. Right now I have Our Lady of Guadalupe. If I was going into the office, I'd have her on my desk at the office, but we don't go in right now, so, or we go in very sporadically. Anyway, I'm all over the place. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.